Oh, all right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are on this beautiful planet. Welcome to the Inner Circle Live for New York session. I'm your host for this morning's session, Benny Allen, along with my awesome partner, Mr. Ryan Carthage. And we're definitely happy and grateful for each and every one of you being here with us this morning as we take a look at the technicals and the fundamentals to see what we can take advantage of in this Forex market. So, without further ado, let's make sure we turn off any and all distractions. Grab a pen and paper, take lots of notes. And let's make sure that we participate and engage. If everybody can hear me loud and clear, do me a huge favor. Drop me a one in the chat. Let me know that my sound is good. And we could go ahead and get this morning session on its way. All right. So, all right. Appreciate it, Yasina. Let's make sure that we start off each and every morning, right? With a great reminder that we want to make sure that we take massive action, making sure that we are accepting all possible losses before entering a trade, preparing for any outcome. Let's make sure that we set ourselves in body, mind, and spirit, ensuring a balanced approach to trading. We want to always trust in our education, strategy, trading skills, and intuition. We want to imagine our trades successfully materializing at all times, and we want to obey our trading strategy, avoiding decisions based on greed or fear. And we want to make sure that we are never, ever looking back or stopping once our trade has commenced. So, hope everybody is ready to take massive action this morning, right? Getting on over to the fundamentals, right? Taking a look at the US dollar. Dollar climbed towards 104 on Friday, rising for a third consecutive session as investors continue to assess the Federal Reserve's monetary policy stance. On Wednesday, the Fed kept policy unchanged, but signaled two interest rate cuts this year. The central bank also highlighted rising risk to growth, employment, and inflation in its latest economic projections. Meanwhile, Fed Chair Powell downplayed concerns over the inflationary impact of President Donald Trump's tariffs, calling them transitory, but reiterated that the central bank is in no rush to cut rates further. So that's just a recap of what we really covered yesterday. But here's the key. Traders are also bracing for the April 2nd deadline of Trump's reciprocal tariffs on countries that have imposed levies on U.S. goods. Moreover, the dollar strengthened as concerns over global growth and trade tensions weighed on other major currencies, keeping investors cautious, right? So, yeah, we saw the market had made some gains the day before, but yesterday, we saw, right, that bit of a risk-off situation return because of this April 2nd deadline that is looming. You actually saw the markets react when Trump's press secretary, I believe her name is Caroline Leavitt, got up and reiterated and really pushed this April 2nd deadline, right, and how it is fast approaching, right? So the markets reacted to that. So still, even Fed data, any of our major fundamental data that we take a look at is just being completely pushed to the side because of uh, these tariffs, right? At least that's how the market sentiment is what the market sentiment seems to be, really paying attention to. So if we come in, I want to check. I didn't look at that this morning. Yeah, we're at slightly above 20 on the VIX. So we'll continue to monitor that. But definitely yesterday, at least I know when I took a look at it, I saw, that the market had reacted to the U.S. press secretary really driving that April 2nd date, right? So tariffs continues to be the story of the day. Uh, in Japan, inflation rate eases to from a 2-year high. So, right, inflation come down a little bit. European stocks fall, travel stocks weigh. Um, major European stocks, uh, major European stock markets traded lower with the stock S 50 and the FTSE 100 slipping 0.5%. As persistent concerns over the economic outlook continue to dampen investor sentiment, travel and leisure stocks were among the worst performers after London's Heathrow Airport was forced to close due to a power outage caused by a fire nearby electrical station. Yep. So I was tuning in to Bloomberg Europe this morning, and that was the talk, right? It was all about this power outage. at one of the world's busiest airports. All right. And so that is impacting the markets today. We'll see what happens once New York opens as well. On the fundamental front from yesterday, we talked about the S&P, the BOE. Um, Came through with their monetary policy decision where they held rates, which was expected. But kind of like the Bank of Japan, where up until recently, a lot of people were leaning towards, a hawkish hold. The BOE also expressed caution, right, because of the whole tariff situation. So, little change in what was expected to be the tone on the hold, right? So we expected the rates to be held, but it was all about that forward guidance and the type of tone. So kind of similar to the Bank of Japan. Everybody is taking caution. Also yesterday, the other big report was the unemployment claims for the United States pretty much came in flat, but the Philly Fed manufacturing index came in positive. Came in positive, right? So when you look at the concern globally, the tariff situation with that October 2nd date looming with the reciprocal tariff, at least the possibility of. And hey, that's pretty decent, right? Came in at 12.5 and 8.8 on the main Philly Fed manufacturing index. Dollar firmed up slightly, right? So it's kind of holding it down right now, not really, continuing its nosedive. So we'll continue to see what happens there. We do have today um, core retail sales for Canada, and then we've got FOMC member Williams speaking today. And so it'll be interesting to see what he has to say coming off the heels of it's because this is the first Fed member speaking out really after the FOMC meeting and Chairman Powell. They also highlighted that today on Bloomberg Europe. So let's see what happens. Not a ton on a Friday, right? But we do have core retail sales for Canada, which is going to be important. Dan Williams speaking. Also, I was reading Canadian data today um, just to check in on that. Okay, we see here that Um, Canadian dollar studied around 143, retreating from the three-week high of 142.8 seen March 17th due to escalating trade tensions, monetary policy divergence, and dimming economic outlook, right? A dimming economic outlook, right, for Canada. President Trump's tariffs threats on Canada imports alongside existing U.S. duties on steel and aluminum have weakened investor sentiment, while the Bank of Canada's recent rate cut to 2.75% has widened the interest rate gap with the Fed, right? So they cut, the Fed is holding, right? So they're talking about that interest rate gap, driving capital outflows. The OECD downgraded Canada's growth, right? So we talk about growth. GDP forecast is 0.7% for 2025 and 2026, reinforcing bearish sentiment as inflation rose to 2.6% in February, largely driven by cost push factors from tariffs rather than economic strength. Meanwhile, futures and options markets indicate growing bets against the loonie, reflecting persistent downside risk. Okay. The data's there, right? It's no longer a big mystery in many cases, right? In regards to the things that we need to know, right? We just have to be willing um, to read a little bit or even listen these days, right? As a lot of these articles uh, that you can read also have the ability for you to listen. So it just takes a little bit of effort to kind of figure out exactly what's going on with a particular asset, whether it be a stock, currency, ETF, no matter what, we can find information on it, right? We just have to be willing to do the digging. Okay. Ryan, good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, bro. I'm doing well, man. How about yourself?
Doing pretty good, man. Doing pretty good. It is Friday, the last day of the week. What's on your radar, man? Anything?
No, I don't have anything additional to add right now, bro.
All right. All right. Well, as simple as that, right? It's like the terrorists are shaking up the world right now.
Yeah, man.
Uh I did see, right? Well, not see, well, listen this morning, uh to hear uh that these European nations, right, really didn't that hadn't come to a conclusion on ponying up that money for the Ukraine for weapons and things like that. So I gotta
Oh,
figure that
really?
out. Yeah. So didn't quite come through on that yet. So we'll see how that continues to unfold, whether or not they actually are gonna step up to the plate. So that's where we are. That's where we are. For anybody that really cares, Russia holds interest rate at record high. That came through. But that's it. That's it. So taking a look at the DXY, right? So like we said, it's seeing the dollar firm up a little bit. Seeing the dollar firm up a little bit. We're at that level, right? So we read on the report, about it hitting that 104 is that 104.04 to be exact, right? But we talked about this 103.94 level where it continues to have struggles, right? You can see the wicks here, right? Won't break above there, but maybe it'll continue to firm up and we will see that. So zooming in on the four, right? Kind of still in that range. Can we get through that level and continue to push higher, right? It has the potential to do some things fundamentally that's shaping up for it to do so. So we shall see, right? Looking at it from the zooming out, looking at the big picture, this is what we're looking like, right? So oftentimes, right, we get that huge bearish candle or a bullish candle, that takes a lot when you look at it in a weekly chart. That takes a lot of flow, right? For for a candle like that to occur. And then oftentimes, right, the market takes a pause. It has to figure out what it wants to do next. You got that fight between the Bulls and the Bears, right? Just like we kind of up here in Michigan just had four seasons in one day yesterday, right? Where old man Winter doesn't quite want to give up. Then you got this big fight going on, right? As we look to kind of try to get to the spring. Same thing in the markets, right? You get a huge move down, right? And so now we've got to figure out exactly what direction we want to go. We want to go, man. You know. So we all here in Michigan got the scare the other night where you get the big message sent to your phone and all the alarm bells went off saying, hey, high winds, possible tornadoes and storms and all types of stuff. And then we really didn't get it though. And so it's like there's only few places where you can make money with a strike rate of 30%. And that's being a weatherman or a weatherwoman, the stock market, and baseball. That's about that's about it. So I don't know. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. Yeah, sleet, wasn't it? It was 70 degrees, then it was sunny, then the temperature dropped, then it rained and it snowed, it did everything. Then I said, I'll take it. I'll take it too. I'll take it too. Done that, right? Somehow, some way, we got away with it, and whatever was supposed to come didn't quite come. So we're good. But that's the odd dollar index. Any questions on the fundamentals or anything to add? Uh hey, pay attention to the community, right? We got Joy in there, uh Donette, Jeremy dropping all types of nuggets, right? This right here was pretty good, right? Link to the EIA report. We got some information on metallurgical coal prices. I'm telling you guys, this uh this accountability group and everything that's going on is pretty special, right? Just learning, right? All types of knowledge. But this was a good read this morning, right? Really tapping into going, and going in detail about, Australia and how metallurgical coal prices, right, impacts Australia. So it was appreciate that Joy dropped some sevens in the chat. Right, for Joy. right? Just immerse yourself in it. Become a part of it. You want to get this thing, you want to, short your learning curve, compress time frames, right? Just it's all about full immersion, right? So pretty good information there, right? That she posted. So always on it. So let's look at some charts, right? Moving in, taking a look at this Aussie yen trade, right? We're getting a slight pullback on it, which we were kind of expecting from looking at that 1 hour chart. So we're getting a slight pullback, and now it seems like we're trying to turn over again. But we had talked about it yesterday where in the short term, we had on our 1 hour kind of an 80-20, right? So long-term 4 hours short, we had 80-20. So it'd be interested to see, right? We got the reversal out of the zone. So again, right? Regardless of everything that's going on, tariffs, the whole nine, right? Sweet spots are sweet spots, especially this 80-20, right? This has remained consistent, right? Throughout all of this mess, right? So there's always something that we can hang our hat on, right? It is where we look in the zones we look to trade. Because the beautiful thing about this 80-20 is that oftentimes you can have uncertainty about your market direction with a particular, asset. But the beautiful thing about this 80-20, as opposed to like a C to D move and things like that, where you're trying to really follow trend direction. What I've recognized over the years is that no matter what, right, you get a reaction in that 80-20 zone. That's the beautiful thing about this move, right, that we discovered right here in the Forex trade room. Is that regardless, right, of things being a little bit all over the place, tariffs this, tariffs that, interest rate hikes, interest rate cuts, holding rates, bullish, bearish, sentiment, no matter what, you get a reaction out of this zone, right? So even though we're not at that target yet, um, we haven't reached that target. Out of that zone, right, at its highest point, you're still up 70 pips, right? And a lot of people can't catch 70 pips in a week, right? That's on one setup. So we'll see if this creates a higher low and then continues uh, to that target. Um, Congrats, drop some sevens in the chat, right? Deb and Jacqueline both, right? Appreciate the update on that, Donette. And congratulations, right, to Deb and Jacqueline. Deb, you've been on that homework, making your post. That was a beautiful 80-20 that you identified. Great work on that. Really good work. We always say that once you get it, you got it. You had your questions, right? And we figured it out. Let me make sure you are good to go. Deb, go ahead.
Good morning. Thank you very much. I appreciate your feedback
You're
and
welcome.
the progress that I'm making. Thank you. And thank you also to the accountability group for their warm welcome and advice and guidance that they gave me also. Thanks, everyone. Good morning.
Indeed. Appreciate you. Appreciate the effort. Appreciate the feedback for the accountability group. Good job, everybody. Great work. Like we always say, teamwork makes the dream work. Right? So the opportunity is there. The opportunity is there, right? So this is this is where we are on this current 80-20 on the 1 hour chart. We'll see if it can continue to pull through. But my larger move, my larger swing has been on this 4 hour with that short out of our sell zone. Right. So we'll see. We'll see how that plays out with the yen. CAD yen, we had talked about um we had spotted, right? The level here, another one, 80-20. Okay. So even though, right, you got the CAD where you've got uh, bearish sentiment, you had the Bank of Japan hold rates going into that meeting, people were thinking that they may hold. It may be what they call a hawkish hold, right? Meaning that the forward guys could be hawkish, but because of the tariff situation, much like the BOE did yesterday, they decided to really take a hawkish approach. I mean, a cautious approach to the forward guidance, right, on the end. So, hey, that can create, a little bit of a mess when you're talking about a currency pair like the CAD yen, but still we hit that 80-20 level and you see how this pushed up out of the zone, right? So we had that drawn up a little bit of consolidation there. We broke out bullish, consolidated again, ranged, and look, we broke out bullish again, right? And we hit that level. So, right, if this was a play that you were looking to take advantage of once it was identified, look, TP1, you got TP2, right? And sometimes, right, when you've got a pair where it's like, man, it could go either way. If you made, your money off the 80-20, considering this pair, you might say, you know what, I'm not necessarily going to try to short this with the trend. Maybe I'm out and it's going to do whatever. See you on the next 80-20, right? So you don't have to trade it both ways. So, but if you were shorting this, right, you are in your strike zone there, right? So if you're short, if you were looking to get a high price and saying, hey, I'm staying bearish on this CAD, considering what we read this morning, right? And you're saying, I want to trade this move with the trend, then you've got a 61.8 pullback, okay, showing you both ways now. So we'll take this out. You got a 61.8 pullback. If you're bearish on this CAD, and you put your stop above the A. So you say, hey, Benny, that data that you read, on the CAD this morning, it's like, man, the bears are out, right, for the Canadian dollar, then this is your short opportunity. Just like that, right? So two setups. One successful setup on a counter trend trade 80-20. And now if you're trading this and, hey, I expect this trend to continue down, you're getting a trend line break now, right? You're getting a trend line break now. So if we, right, we close bearish on this 1 hour, they look to get short. Okay, if you're not already short off of that's an entry level there. Last one, right? So that could be a possible short. Any questions on that? Right? Daily stochastic is overbought. So that could be a 1 hour play if you trade your 1 hour chart. All right. All right. So that's that on the CAD yen. Looking at the Swiss yen. All right. So again, forever set up on the 4 hour, right? We haven't gotten to around that 382 zone yet. Okay, we talked about this before. We saw this huge correction back down. Now look at that recovery. We were wondering if it was going to hold at this daily level and around this consolidation area. And it did, right? Look at that. So we were looking at the 1 hour and look how that 80-20 played out. Again, 80-20. Market could be a bit all over the place. 80-20 played out to the 382, right? So we may see a continued reaction off of this 382 to run towards that 382 on the 4. We'll see. But the point in this is having, right, your patience. I don't know how that got moved up, but having your patience. And if you're trading off your 4 hour chart and you recognize this 80-20, yes, it's taking a long time. That's a long consolidation period. But we always say when you have an 80-20, you may get this, right? Where it kind of has to figure itself out. Do I want to return for a deeper correction, right? That's that fight going on between the bulls and the bears, buyers and sellers, right? So it doesn't It's not causing us any type of harm, right? Letting it figure itself out because we have a protective stop in place. If it doesn't take out my stop, then I'm going to look for that trade to eventually hit my target, right? And if it does, I already know what I'm risking before I take the trade. So here, if I'm trading my 1 hour chart, I identified an 80-20 on my 1 hour chart. That's why we say, hey, pick a chart. Do your top down, your monthly, weekly, daily analysis as far as your support and resistance, things like that. Then pick a chart. So this example is showing you that you can make money no matter what chart you're trading. Okay. So here's an 80-20 going in the opposite direction. You don't have to try to trade it all. Just pick a chart, right? And stick to it. So there we are. Bang, hit that 382. So if you were running this counter trend trade there, boom, you hit target one, right? And this is a switch in. We know that this is a mover. So just to that target one was 200 pips. Just like that. Just like that, right? Really good setups. So that's the switch in, right? Now, if you were trading this 1 hour chart and you're saying, I'm bullish on a switch in, and my rules are that I trade at a 61.8 or 786. Well, we haven't gotten there yet. So the only way I would buy this off my 1 hour chart, if I was sticking to my rules, is if this made a lower low and came into my zone. Then I would look to buy this on a 1 hour chart, right? So your rules are your rules, okay? The chart you trade on is up to you, okay? Any questions on this switch in?
No, sir.
No, we're good. All righty. Okay. Um, Having a consistent approach to the market really helps to quiet the noise, right? Really helps to quiet the noise. Euro Aussie. Okay. So we talked about this one yesterday. 4 hour chart. Okay. We're making our move. We're ranging a bit, but hey, we hit our buy zone. We're long on that. Okay, if this is our play, this is our swing, we've got our stop in place below the A. We're going to let it can consolidate for 2 to 3 days. We don't care. We've calculated our risk. We've got our bias, right? We've got our bias there, and we're off and running, right? So right now, we need a range. We need this range to break out, right, in our direction. Okay, so that's that. Here we are on our 1 hour, moving in the same direction. So think about how big these moves are, right? This is an EA off our 61.8 level, okay? You're already up, right? Over 100 pips just off your 61.8 level, right? And right, 195 pips or so to go. But think about it. You're already up 100 pips just sticking to your zone, okay? So that's the Euro Aussie setup. We'll see how that continues to progress, right? But that's a major move, right? EA can move. The Euro CAD. See how this is shaping up, right? Now, we had a sell-off. Now the question becomes, this is our daily chart, right? Do we form a low on this daily chart or do we see a bounce, right? Because if we look at our look here, right? If I'm trading my 4 hour, I'm in my zone, right? So if I wanted to buy this and I had my position in at the 61.8, right? I'm in a bit of drawdown now. I got my second position at my 786, right? So if I'm risking total 1%, split the trade up, 0.5% each position, right? If you want to trade like that. Or if you just take one position, right? You just ride it out. But, right, you're close to taking another position here. And if we get that U-turn, right? So if this drops, not quite there yet. If we get to that 786 level, Then we just drop our TP from that 1618 to that 127, and then we take the ride, right? So didn't quite hit that level. So right now, you technically would have one position open off the 61.8. And right there. Okay. If you're not using any type of limits or whatever, or manually entering at the 61.8, and you're waiting for additional confirmation like a trend line break, well, let's grade this trade, right? I've got a stochastic that's oversold, right? That's back into our buy zone. All right. So I've got that. Okay. I've got that lining up for me. Okay. I've got my key area, my zone, and my buy zone. Now, if I use a trend line, I need a trend line break. Okay. If you use the cloud, then you're just waiting for a cloud break at this point. See? All right. You're waiting for things to line up. Can I get a bullish cloud up ahead in the future? Can I get a TK crossover? Can I get that cloud to break? Right? Can I get price to break the cloud? Okay. Can I get my lagging span, right? My Chico span, as they call it also, right? Right here, which is this pink line. Right? Can I get that to move under, right? Can I get price to be above, should I say? That Chico span, right? And then do we get long? Right? So whatever confirmations you're using, right? It's totally up to you. But that's that Euro CAD, right? Whatever triggers you to get into the trade, that's up to you. All right. So we'll see how that plays out, right? So if you're using additional confirmations, we're not there yet, but we are in our zone, right? Things are starting to look good. Okay. That's the Euro CAD. Taking a look at this Euro GBP, because we did have price move up around that 80-20 zone, right? And we almost came in at TP1. So we'll see if we actually get that to finish out. I don't know if anybody was playing that. That's Euro GBP, right? Small movement, right? Always all over the place for the most part. But we did have an 80-20 setup there. That gap within looks like a pip of that TP1, right? So not sure if anybody took advantage of that. We'll see how that goes. The Euro NZD. Okay. So we talked about this yesterday, starting to, you know, hold up, right? Starting to hold up. Can we get that swing low to form? But we're starting to get some action, right? Back to the upside. It's been a little bit all over the place, but you can see how, look at how we made, right, this higher high and then pulling back on this 4 hour, trying to see if we can get that higher low. See? There. Now, from that impulse move to the upside, we ran right into an 80-20 yesterday, right? Daily resistance. So again, right, we had an 80-20 when all else fails. Okay. Right there in the zone. See how look how strong that move was. And then all of a sudden, we put the brakes on. And the market wanted to sell off and move for a deeper retracement. So 80-20 there. If you play that, that's close enough to take profit. If you're just playing it, to a 382 target one level, oftentimes if I can catch that and I see that, I'm out, right? Because that market can return back to the upside without retracing deeper, or at least reduce your trade, right? Reduce your trade, adjust your stops, right? That's a Euro NZD play. So you can see right out of that zone, right? Have a little bit of drawdown, right? But look, think about it. Have to ask yourself, did it hit my stop? No, it did not, right? And as a result, we came down 90 pips on a 1 hour chart, right? Catching pips all over the place. So that's that on the Euro NZD. Any questions there? thinking that eventually gets back long, but we'll see. It's giving us a little bit of everything. Okay. This Euro USD. All right. If that dollar continues to firm, right, we hit this 118 zone here. That dollar continues to firm up, we may see a deeper correction, right? Didn't quite reach, right, the max level on that 80-20, but we got a reaction there. Okay, so it's trying to figure stuff out. So just a mirror image, just the opposite, right? So look at how it's ranging and consolidating. Look at the DXY, right? Look at our DXY. It's just the opposite, right? Why? Because that DXY is heavily weighted with the euro. Okay. So look at the euro USD, look at the dollar index. It's just like flipping it over. Okay. So we'll see what happens, right, with that range. Okay. So that's the euro USD. Taking a look at this pound Aussie. Okay. Here's our bullish move. All right. Pushing along, trying to get through and close above the high on the daily. We have another swing low that formed here. That's a daily swing low. All right. Here's our center candle low, 2 to the left, more than 2 to the right at this point. Right. That formed a low. So you can see that push. And here's the 1 hour that we were taking a look at. Is this going to continue to move higher? We're in our zone. If you're bullish on this pound Aussie, here's your 1 hour play. We can throw our cloud on. We're already above the cloud, right? So we're sideways a bit here. So I'm just going to draw this to the outside of that consolidation, right? So this is our lowest point here, but we're moving a bit sideways. So I'm just going to put it to the outside, see if we can get that breakup above it on that pound Aussie, right? So got some things, right? We hit our zone. Bang. Right that up a bit. We got our stop loss. We got our TP right now based on the retracement level being the 61.8. We got our stochastic that is sitting in our buy zone there. Can we get that push? Can we get that push? All right. So that's that on the pound Aussie. Taking a look at this pound CAD, checking in on it. All right. We can see, right? Everybody knows what this is. 80-20. Path in which it takes, sometimes it can move straight down, sometimes it can move sideways, all over the place, push higher. But at the end of the day, we got to target one on one. Okay. So if you're tracking this off your 4, we got a 50% retracement, 50% retracement there. Moving a bit sideways. So here's our lowest point so far, which is our C within this zone. Okay. So we got a 50%. So right now, we can project, right, our 1.618 if this is going to continue bullish. Now, you can see how we made a nice move down, and now we're kind of pushing sideways. So we need that breakout. So you could draw a rectangle, right? Or you could just move that trend line to the outside of that consolidation like so. To see if we want to get this break, right? And take it from there, right? But we do have a low, our lowest point within the AV boundary, that's our C. This could be also creating a higher low, right? We don't have our second candle to the right yet. And this is a 4-hour chart. Trend line a little bit more accurate. there, right? It, right? And a trend line there, right? It's starting to form, right? Can I get a swing low to form there and then get bullish, right? We can put the cloud on to see where we are. We're not back above the cloud yet, right? So you could play a cloud break, right? So maybe you don't want to use your trend line. Maybe you want to wait for things to line up on your cloud. Okay. Don't have a bullish cloud up ahead yet. We got uh Tickerson and Keeterson kind of everything is kind of moving through price right now, right? Which just really just confirms our sideways movement. And when you see that, okay, you get that 50 moving average kind of moving through the prices above it once we break out here. But then we just wait, right? If you're a cloud user, then you just want to wait. Can I get a TK crossover? Can I get that lagging span, right? To be below the price? Can I get a bullish cloud? We've got a stochastic, right? That's oversold back in our buy zone. Patience, patience, right? There we are. So that's what we look like on the 4 hour on the pound CAD moving, right? Let's look at this, right? From Deb in the community. Right, just trading homework. Okay. Don't get any better than that, right? 1 hour chart. Look at that, right? Work. Great job there. All right. 80-20 she identified, right? So we'll go here and take a look at this pound yen. See this breakdown, right? She drew that up right on the money. Right. And so look, we got a cloud break. Now we're pulling back to the cloud. So we ultimately want to see that move to that TP1. We got there that was pretty good. Look at how big these moves are, right? We know the pound yen, that's the beast, as they call it, right? 250 pips. That might be enough for some people. Right? Now we got this pullback, right? Did that hold within the AB boundary? Let's see. Took that out. What do we have there, right? So we got to pull back to a 382. So we look for that to finish out. So if we get this play, right, that Deb identified, right, we get this play to hit TP1 as 300 pips on a 1 hour chart. Right? Let's see what can happen. It's a big move. That's a big move. You're welcome. You're welcome. So let's see what happens with it. Okay. These moves don't happen overnight, right? Unless something fundamentally happens and the bottom just falls out, right? We know that when you're talking about a 300 pip move, that's going to move in waves. You're going to have your pullbacks and your continuations. And we know, right? It's hard sometimes to develop that discipline to hold the trade because look at how our 80-20s play out all over the place, right? So you get folks like Donette, my man Reese, Joy, all the time, right? Especially trading lower time frame charts. They'll run these sub fibs and say, hey, Benny, hey, Ryan, hey, team, this is a sub fib. There's an 80-20 right there, right? So would you have made money on this? Absolutely, right? To the tune of 192 pips. What we do may seem complicated in the beginning, but once you get it, you got it. And once you really see what we're doing, it's actually really simple. It's actually really simple using this framework. Okay. Now, am I upset with Smart Trader right now? Yes, because they haven't put these ETFs and everything back on the platform. Highly upset. But the smart fib, right, especially for what we do, especially for efficiency and saving time, is a lifesaver, right? So I'm mad in one regard, but I'm happy for the software overall, right? So that's another 80-20 you could have made money on. Now, do we get that continued push down to hit that target? All right, so that's that. This is, look, we got a great structure here, right? How we've got, you can see our B boundary, you can see where we got the wick that rejected, right? The last I can pull this out. We got a rejection here from before, and then we had price pull right back to that level. So hopefully we can turn over, break back below that 192.83 and see a continued move down on that pound yen. So yeah, that's that. Looking at the pound NZD, right? What was it that I don't really see anything on this? Yes, this is just the overall play on the 4 hour that we've been tracking for quite some time. This is still, we still had this higher time frame target at 229, just shy of the 4 hour extension, but we are still looking forward to get there. So just wanted to touch base on that. See if we hold above this 224 level, has resistance become a future support. And eventually, right, we want to see that hit his target. So I hadn't touched that for a while. We'll consider this an 80-20 on the 4. We sure can. We sure can. What time we got? 7:20? Yep, we'll do it. Now it's 100. So let me look at this pound dollar scenario, right? We're up in the zone, up in this 80-20 zone. If that dollar firms up, right, we may see a continued move to the downside on this pound dollar, right? So another setup that has reached an 80-20 zone. And we'll see if that holds up, right? That dollar's a little iffy right now, a little shady, right? So, but technically, right, we're in that zone. See if we can get a move back down. Want to take a look at, we know the S&P cut rates, dollar is holding. So real quickly, want to take a look at this dollar Swissy from this daily chart, right? We're trying to hold. I'm waiting to see if we can get if that dollar firms up and we can get a move higher. So just know we're deep in this zone. We're beyond 86%. We're in like double bottom territory. I'm wondering, right? I'm watching this one closely to see if that dollar does catch momentum. We know that the S&P cut rates, right? Swiss National Bank, right? We're looking at the dollar Swiss. I'm keeping a close eye on this. Do we get back above and close above 88.26? And do we take a ride? Right. So just want to keep an eye on that one with the April 2nd tariff deadline looming. Want to keep an eye on that. Want to keep an eye on this dollar yen as well. Right. As you can see how it's kind of stalling a bit here. Right. Bank of Japan held rates, took a cautious approach. You know, the forward guys wasn't as bullish as some thought it could be. Ryan keeps reminding us, hey, third quarter is where we may see another rate hike from the Bank of Japan. Donette said the skill set is a must. I shared yesterday in the group that had a few meetings yesterday where I had to leave home. I came home for a few hours and jumped in the charts and made $207, then left another meeting. Absolutely. That's quite a day, right? That's quite that's quite a day. Thanks for sharing that, right? Drop your sevens in the chat, right? Making that money. Appreciate you sharing that, done that. All right. So let's look at this. Look at these indices and look at the NASDAQ 100. And we want to go down to the 4. So I'm assuming we're looking at an 80-20, right? A bullish 80-20 potentially. Looking at this move. So just drop down to the 4. Is that high? Oh, markup. Oops. Yeah. We caught that barely, right? That's part of the swing low though, right? So we could see that return. You see that how that's part of that swing low? So oftentimes we just play that as an 80-20. Right? We still hold that as an 80-20. Yeah. Right. And so that's one, right? That's a little tricky, right? Reese pointed this out. See how your B boundary doesn't form until you have a swing low. So sometimes you will get that candle, right? That pushes up to that 382. We negate that, right? Because that's part of that swing low. And if we do get that B boundary to break, we still look forward to possibly returning for a higher price. Okay. So that's that. That one's still in play. Look at the reaction you got. Again, right? Another 80-20 zone, right? All right. Brian, I need a 80-20 hat. We need a we need a
We need to
we
make
need
it happen, bro.
yeah, man. We talked about it for a while. We need our 80-20 with our 80-20 logo that we created. We need a 80-20 t-shirt. Right. So we definitely need it. I still have that image too. Donna, they said it needs to go up already. I know the NASDAQ, all of it is like it was looking pretty decent, right? Until we got that the press secretary coming out bragging about April 2nd and reciprocal tariffs, talking about it's gonna be a great moment in our country's history. I don't know what planet they're on, but we're gonna see. Man, right. You said Mars. Yeah, man. It's like I tell you one thing, they sell everything. Dates, shoes, sneakers, meme coins, cars outside of the White House. You got judges, you got the Commerce Secretary on national TV talking about buy Tesla stock, which I'm still trying to figure out if that's even legal. All types of stuff going on. So yeah, so that's where so this is the S&P, right? We got that swing low, it's just moving sideways, hawking everything. Watches. I think you got the two editions of the sneakers, the hats, everything, man. Everything. So that's where we are in America right now. Please forgive us. Uh, Here we are. We haven't quite reached that 80-20 zone yet on that German 30. Everything else is kind of checking out, looking the same. We got the Russell on this 1 hour play. We reacted to that weekly level right there though, but who knows, right? That could be a higher low. Um, just need something to shake out. But I tell you what, the 80-20s and the moves on the currency fronts are while these indices and things are stagnating, uh the we're getting good movement on some of the currencies going into our sweet spots. You said the 4 hour, 1 hour look bearish. Yeah, I would imagine so with this impulse leg down and then this pullback. So that's gotta be a higher pullback on a smaller fib, right? So let's check that out and see what Reese is talking about. Mm-hmm. We shall see. We shall see. All right. Let's move this down to the one. Right. And this really all comes down to your homework and your bias, right? On whether or not this is the point in which this market recovers and rallies, or we're going to have one more drive down. That comes down to your homework, your bias, and your risk management, right? If you add a position off these lows, considering the fundamentals, uh, you want to make sure that position. I hope you make sure that position was small. And you got in the back of your mind the possibility of another move down before we start moving into full recovery territory, right? So we officially what they call correction territory in the markets, where we look at our fib structure, up retracement zones, down retracement zones. The market, when you listen to you make Bloomberg, things like that. Whenever you get 10% correction or more, the highs, they say, right, you're in correction. You're definitely in correction territory. And we got this. So we'll see, if we get one more push down on that, right? So swing trading it. If you got, like I said, if you got buy positions, make sure they're small and just ride it out to see if you're ultimately right. Okay, so in correction territory, right, but not overall long-term bearish. There hasn't been a major long-term shift in the trend. We're still in correction territory, right? And we're still got a lot of fundamentals still in the favor of eventually a correction, right? So we'll see. But that is all I have for today. Great session. Appreciate everybody being here. Keep putting in the work. That accountability group is amazing, right? To our new members, again, welcome. Congratulations. Appreciate you all diving in, digging in, doing the homework. Keep up the good work, right? Keep asking those questions, right? To members in the group and to, myself and Ryan. Keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. The only way you fail is if you quit. Ryan, anything before we close out, sir?
Man, great session, bro. Team, great work. Continuing to dive in. New members, great work. Continuing to dive in, right? Continue to challenge yourself to do more, to learn more, to experience more, right? When things get challenging, that's when the growth happens. So don't be afraid of the uncomfortable feeling of challenge, because it's supposed to be difficult. Things are supposed to be difficult so that we can learn, grow, and evolve. So press in when things get difficult. Press in more. Great work, bro.
Appreciate it. So tomorrow, we will have the session tomorrow, but it may be a little bit short because I do have a funeral to attend tomorrow morning. So 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time will definitely be on, but it may be a shorter session than usual. Okay, so just wanted to let everybody know that. With that being said, hey, everybody, enjoy the rest of your Friday. And always, right? Make sure you tell those around you that you care about, that you love them. And remember, don't just count your pips, but indeed count your blessings. Bye for now.
Yes.
You're welcome.